Okay, so have you noticed something fundamentally different about your search results lately? You type in a quick query, and instead of just seeing that familiar list of blue links, there's this neat paragraph style AI answer waiting for you right at the very top. I mean, it seems incredibly convenient, right? But this actually represents a massive, quiet shift in how we interact with information on the internet. We're literally moving away from a search engine that acts like a helpful librarian, pointing you to different sources, to one that acts as an all knowing synthesizer.
And honestly, it's a monumental paradigm shift in how we control and verify knowledge. In the old era, sure, the search engine chose what to surface, but you, the user, chose what to read, what to click on, and ultimately who to trust from a ranked list of candidate links. But in this new era, users are just fed a generated conclusion. The AI is reading, synthesizing, and summarizing the web for you, giving itself unprecedented editorial control over what billions of people read and know every single day. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, I am absolutely thrilled to demystify the inner workings of this very system. We're going to look behind the curtain of Google's AI overviews. We'll be drawing from a fascinating, really rigorous 40-day academic measurement study that finally managed to pull back the veil on this massive black box system. All right, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the end of search as we know it, then uncover what triggers these AI overviews, where the answers come from, whether or not you can actually trust them, the cost to web publishers, and finally, what this all means for the future of the web. Section 1. The end of search, a true paradigm shift. So how do you even begin to study a closed system reaching over 2 billion users globally? Because, the company doesn't exactly publish the rulebook for when these AI overviews activate or how they choose their sources. Well, independent researchers had to get super creative. They built an incredible, bespoke, automated pipeline to capture the AI in action. Over a 40-day window, they issued over 55,000 trending queries across 19 different topical categories. They basically acted like thousands of real users, carefully scraping the results to see exactly when the AI showed up, what it said, and which websites it secretly relied on to generate its answers. Moving right into Section 2. What triggers AI overviews? The hidden logic. Now, if you've done a search recently, you know the AI doesn't pop up for every single thing you type. So when does it trigger? Across all those thousands of searches, the baseline activation rate was exactly 13.7%. At first glance, you might think, wow, the AI is actually quite selective overall. It's not taking over every single search page, but that average number hides some extreme variations in how the system behaves depending on what and how you ask. It turns out, how you phrase your search totally dictates your exposure to the AI. If you type in a non-question, like just the word shoes, the AI only activates about 9.5% of the time. But if you pose a natural, open-ended question, that rate skyrockets to nearly 65%. And if it's an explanatory question, like how to do something, you're looking at a massive 84.3% activation rate. The system is heavily biased toward explaining things to users who ask natural questions. And this brilliantly illustrates how the AI's activation isn't static over time either. Look at these dramatic spikes. During massive public events, think the Oscars, the NCAA tournament, or the Artemis II space launch, when public demand for information absolutely peaks, the AI steps in aggressively to synthesize the news. However, the researchers also found that for politically sensitive topics, activation rates are markedly suppressed, down to around 7.5%, which shows there's undisclosed editorial discretion applied to keep the AI quiet on certain controversial subjects. Which brings us to Section 3. Where do the answers actually come from? Sourcing the AI. When the AI does decide to speak up, where is it retrieving its facts? The researchers contrasted the sources the AI cites against the standard links shown on the very same first page of search results, and they found a totally surprising twist. The AI actually pulls from significantly more credible domains than the regular search results do. Furthermore, the regular first-page results are typically cluttered with about 41% unvetted user-generated content, think casual social media posts. The AI overview, on the other hand, restricts that to just 14%, clearly favoring institutional sources over social media chatter. Now, you might assume the AI just reads the top 5 links and summarizes them, right? Actually, wrong. What's fascinating is the lack of overlap here. Only 25% of the AI's sources match the top 5 first-page results. And more shockingly, nearly 30% of the AI's cited sources don't appear on the first page of the regular search results at all. This means the AI is using a completely separate ranking brain. It's digging into a totally different pool of sources that the traditional search algorithm didn't even deem worthy of page 1. All right, Section 4. Can you trust the AI? Evaluating the claims. So, if it's picking highly credible sources, does that mean the summary it spits out is definitely accurate? The study painstakingly broke down the AI's responses into over 98,000 atomic, individual claims to check them against the cited sources. And here's the reality: 89% of the time, the claims are consistent. That's pretty good. But 11% of the time, roughly 1 in 9 claims, they are completely unsupported by the cited source. The biggest failure mode, at 7%, is omission, which is really just a polite way of saying AI hallucination. The AI stated a fact that the source never even mentioned. Even worse, nearly 3% of the time, the AI directly contradicted the source it linked to. And crucially, the researchers noted that just because the AI picked a high-quality source, it absolutely did not guarantee the AI wouldn't hallucinate. Let me make this data real for you with a specific example from the study. Someone searched about the Artemis 2 launch. The AI overview confidently stated, Artemis 2 is a crewed mission that orbits the moon. But if you actually click the source the AI cited to back up this claim, the text explicitly says the mission will not land on the moon or even go into lunar orbit. Instead, the plan is to loop around it. The AI confidently hallucinated a false claim while pointing to a source that literally said the exact opposite. If you just read the summary and moved on, you'd be completely misinformed. And you'll see this verification accuracy varies widely depending on the topic. The AI does best on high-stakes topics where there's plenty of authoritative editorial text, like health and politics, scoring up near 94 or 95% accuracy. But look at the bottom of the list. Climate struggles immensely, dropping below 50%. Why? Because climate searches are often about real-time weather data. The AI grabs a live temperature or pollen count, but the cited weather page updates constantly. It really shows how fragile this system can be when dealing with structured, rapidly changing information. Section 5. The cost to web publishers and the real economic impact. We've talked a lot about the user experience, but what is the economic reality for the people actually writing the articles? Impartially speaking, the financial consequences for publishers whose traffic is being intercepted are devastating. The study notes that AI overviews reduce organic click-throughs by an average of 38%. English Wikipedia saw a 15% traffic drop. Independent businesses are being hit even harder. The music publisher Stereogum attributed a 70% loss in ad revenue to this AI shift. The travel blog, The Planet D, had to shut down completely after a 90% drop in traffic. It's simple math. When the AI answers the question, the user doesn't click, and the publisher doesn't get paid. To put that into perspective, consider this staggering figure, 50.6%. That represents the absolute minimum percentage of AI-cited pages that rely on display ads to survive. More than half the pages whose hard work makes the AI synthesis possible are running ad-supported business models, models that depend entirely on the page view traffic the AI is now actively intercepting. And here's the kicker. This leads us to the climax of this economic narrative. While publishers are losing out on organic clicks because the AI is blocking the way, the platform's own sponsored search ads are remarkably preserved. The researchers found that sponsored ads continue to appear on pages with AI overviews, sometimes right above the AI itself. It creates a completely asymmetrical economic impact. The AI deployment displaces publisher revenue by suppressing organic clicks, but it neatly preserves the search engine's own advertising capture. Finally, Section 6, the future of the web and a major systemic risk. So, what does this massive shift mean for the broader internet ecosystem? Well, the researchers highlight a pretty terrifying systemic risk, a highly fragile feedback loop. Remember, this is not some standalone intelligence. The AI absolutely requires high-quality, original web content to function and synthesize its answers. But the traffic displacement caused by the AI starves the very creators and publishers who fund that original content. If publishers lose their revenue, the production of the high-quality journalism, research, and blogging that grounds the AI might dry up entirely. It's basically an ecosystem eating its own tail. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question to ponder. We all love the convenience of a quick, synthesized answer. But if publishers literally can't afford to create original content today because their traffic has been intercepted, what exactly will the AI synthesize tomorrow? It's a huge question that everyone who uses the web needs to be thinking about. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning where your information comes from.